Quiet, yeah? Quiet.
A very warm good evening here from Barton Park as we get set for this National Premier League Men's New South Wales fixture between St George FC and the Sutherland Sharks. I'm Keane McKenna and it's a pleasure to be alongside you to call this one. Local pride is on the line tonight, and regardless of league form, a local derby is a fixture always circled on the footballing calendar. The Sharks are aiming to climb into the top six for the first time this season with a win and add more misery to the collapsing St George FC. Meanwhile, the home 2017, having not tasted victory in nearly 3 months. However, with one of the Sharks' most favoured sons leading St George into this contest in Brian Bomber Brown, there is set to be a lot of emotion riding into this one. A huge 3 points on the line for both sides here in Sydney South, but first let's check in on how both sides line up here tonight. It's 2 changes for St George FC. Number 1, Nicholas Soros. Number 2, Rocco Smith. Number 5, Nicholas Calagiro. Number 6, and captain Patrick O'Shea. Number 7, Justin Poon. Number 8, Evangelo Soros. Number 10, Jaden Casella. Number 12, Jaden Cito. Number 5, Mark Rodgic. Number 16, Caden Wright. And number 38, making his starting NPL debut, is Rafael Costa. He is one of two changes. Him and Rocco Smith come into the side for Jake True and Katsuyu Kimishima, who are dropped out of the matchday squad completely. For the Sutherland Sharks, it's just the one change for David Perkovic's side. Starting goal is their captain, Daniel Nizic. Number 3, Yanni Nicola. Number 4, Tice Van Amerongen. Number 5, Jordan Perez. Number 6, Riley Hollingdale. Number 8, Brendan Garn. Number 11, Danny Choi. Number 15, Jamie Posevsky. Number 17, Richard Sueki. Number 18, and coming into the starting lineup today, is Gian Forsey. And number 21, and their top goal scorer, is Nicholas Olsen. It's a brisk night here in Sydney South. Perfect conditions for Saturday night football. It's a packed stadium full of both the blue of Sutherland Sharks and the red, white and green of St. George fans in the stands as we get set for a big 90 minutes. Both sides needing 3 points, knowing how valuable 3 points is here tonight, as center referee Matthew Staples gets us underway. And it's sent high and long and put St. George under pressure. Near St. George, can they start with a positive start? It's Rocco Smith. In towards Costa. Now Smith. The shot, and it's a fantastic foot save by Nizic. Great start there by St. George, as that one is kept in off the corner flag and is out for a corner. Great start here for St. George. Rocco Smith and Rafael Costa, the two gentlemen that have come into the starting 11 tonight, making instant impact and forcing a very early save out of Daniel Nizic, who hasn't conceded in his last 2 games. 5 clean sheets on the season, but facing early pressure here with an early corner, less than a minute into the contest. That one is swung in. Header, and it's another fantastic save by Nizic. And it was Jaden Sito who's come up with the header then, forced a very good two-handed save from Nizic, and it's behind for yet another corner. Fantastic start here by St. George. Needing a lift and getting on the front foot early as this corner is swung in. Front post, not cleared initially, still there, scrambling. Lots of blue shirts. It's here with Olsen. Hollingdale. Trying to play out now the Sharks. Trying to relieve some pressure. And they get forward to Garn, who's just able to get it out wide to Foresi. Now Choi. And Sharks can move here on the wing. Sharks just happy to put their foot on the ball after forcing their keeper into 2 early saves. Sharks coming into this one with full of confidence. 2 wins in the last 2 weeks. 1 at home against NWS Spirit, and recently last weekend an impressive away victory. As that one is swung in, it was Poon there who got up but unable to make the header, as Olsen rushes to keep that one in. Lovely bit played. O'Shea. And Soros is able to put his foot on. Moves it forward to right. And out wide to Poon. Thought about the cross. Finds Calagiro. Cross in. And it's up and over everybody. But could fall here for Casella. Out on the left-hand side as a shot. It's fizzed back across the face of goal. And Daniel Nizic couldn't do nothing about that one but watch and hope it goes past his far post. As I was saying, Sharks coming off an impressive victory at Sydney United 58 last weekend. Just a 1-0 win there and a gutsy defensive performance to hold current league leaders out at home. However, they have been rattled here so far with St. George FC, who haven't won since the 14th of March at Sydney Olympic. looking to start positive here. Haven't scored in their last two, St. George either. Last time they scored was a 3-1 loss to Sydney United 58. And that was Caden Wright who scored that one. And it's all the way back to Nizic. Frantic start here, less than 4 minutes on the clock. St. George has come out with intent. That's here with Van Amerongen. Scored the winner last week. His third of the season for the 27-year-old centre-back. Climbing header just before the halftime stoppage. Gave the Sharks what they need to get a vital 3 points. And 3 points here tonight, as I said at the top of the broadcast, could see them climb up into the top 6 for the first time this season. With NWS Spirit losing to Sydney FC last night, they slipped further out of the top 6 race. And also, Sydney United 58 did them a favour earlier this afternoon, defeating the West Sydney Wanderers 2-0 out at Wanderers Football Park. That does mean, with a win, the Sharks do climb up into 6th. But they've been under the pump here early, as that one is loose by Olsen. And it's a fast break here, and it's in behind for Casella. Though the flag is up on the near side here. Prez up to Choi. Choi couldn't get on the end of that one. Lovely bit of footwork there by Rogic. And it's all the way back to Soros. First time we're seeing him in action tonight. High press from the Sharks. Trying to put C2 under pressure. As if a local derby needs any more interesting storylines than the ones out on the field. There is an interesting story in the St. George technical box coming into this one. Their new manager, Brian Bomber Brown, he took over from Raphael Murray at the start of May after he was relieved of his duties. As St. George comes down the right-hand side, the cross in, front post. And it was Costa once again, causing trouble in the early going so far, Costa. Featured a lot in the under-20s for St. George, getting his starting debut tonight. As I was saying, Brian Bomber Brown, now head coach of St. George FC. He is a 6-time Coach of the Year in Football New South Wales, though most notably, he's coached around the league in some of the biggest teams, including his opposition tonight in the Sutherland Sharks. The last time the Sharks won the New South Wales top flight premiership after the home and away season, he was the head coach in 2008. Famously won that premiership on goal difference, beating out the Wollongong Wolves, equal on the same amount of points, though the Sharks finished with 8 goal difference better to win the premiership that year. So, interesting battle in the technical area, and I'm sure a lot of feelings for him. That's a cut in by Poon. Gets past 2, still with it, needs help. Goes for himself, the shot deflection! And it's hit the outside netting. Third corner for St. George. Just shy of 8 minutes gone. And the Sharks have been put under the pump early. It'll be an in-swing corner, though the referee holds possession. Wants to have a work. It looks like O'Shea of St. George and Nicola of Sutherland, 2 centre-backs, possibly being a bit too fiscal for Matthew Staples' liking. corner swung in into the dangerous area and a busy 18-yard box, and it was Nicola who got up with a very important header. Perez able to come away with it. His pass just reaching. And he resets it here with Feresi. The press coming from Casella forces Nidich to go long. Couldn't tell by these first opening 9 minutes that St. George were possibly their worst form in club history. 11 games winless. Hoping not to push further and further to unwanted history as Soros has to clear his line there with 2 Sharks on pressing. The unwanted history I do talk about is what I mentioned at the top of the broadcast. 11 games winless. Apologies. The current record in NPL New South Wales is set at 14 losses in a row. It was set by Parramatta FC in 2017. Though they're looking good here in the early goings as Casella beats the offside track and the cross is in towards Poon. It's too far though. He'll track it down before it goes out over the sideline. Perez putting pressure on him. It's back to Calagira. Now right, now Poon, cross in, and no one there at the back post. It was Smith who was in there. No, he's rushing towards the penalty spot. Justin Poon looking lively. So far, he's been with St. George for the past few seasons. He scored 10 goals. In the year they got promoted from Football New South Wales League 1 in 2023. Unable to find the back of the net so far this season. One of the key struggles for St. George this season has been finding the back of the net. Have only scored 15 goals in 18 games. It's the worst in the competition. As I mentioned, only 2 goals in their last 5. So hopefully they'll be looking towards Poon to get into the back of the net for the first time this season. Alongside Costa and Smith. Front 3 of St. George. None of them have found the back of the nets this season. Though that could change tonight as that one is sent high towards Choi. Cleared back up. Perez brings it down. Hollingdale. Perez sends that one long, though Choi wasn't on the same wavelength. And Calagiro able to find Soros. Maybe a St. George throw at the halfway mark. Brian Bomber Brown's counterpart, David Perkovich, famously made the move from Premiership winning NWS Spirit last season to the Sharks in a massive rebuild. And it's here with Danny Choi. Now Olsen, first bit of attack here for the Sharks. The cross in towards the back post. And it was needed to be cleared there by Cito. And now it's up here to Smith. Tries to turn Ferese. And he wins the throw-in. Bit of push and shove there afterwards. Mentioned it was a local derby, so there's sure to be more of that. With bragging lines on the line here. B.S. Perkovic in his first season. He's been happy with his side with their last 2 victories. As it's here with Poon. Trying to cross in again on that left foot. And floats all the way to Nizic. Speaking to Football New South Wales reporter after last week's Sydney United 58 game, he said back-to-back fantastic performances for his Sharks. He knew that the start of the season where they suffered 3 losses in a row, including a 2-0 loss. Apologies, a 1-0 loss to St. George in round 3. Knew it was going to be a tough start being a new team. They wanted to rectify that starting the second half of the season, and they're looking a lot better now and a lot better unit. No, I'm sure He can't be too pleased with what he's seen from his side. We've been put under the pump in the early goings of this one. That one is sent long. Hollindale gets up. Garn brings it down nicely. Still with Hollindale. Now Olsen. Couldn't make it stick. And still with Calagiro. Out wide to Choi, though Calagiro cuts out the pass. Costa out to Poon, who's got space to drive into. Calagiro's on the overlap. Still Poon. Cuts left, cuts right, on the right. And it was fizzed in. I don't know if Rocco Smith, number 2, was expecting it to almost be a cross there. Didn't look like he tried to put any effort on it. Though Poon is causing a lot of problems here for Jordan Perez. Down this right-hand side. One of the issues St. George have been facing throughout their 11-game losing streak is an abundance of injuries. Just going through the team sheet and the players they've used over the last 5 games, it is a countless numbers of players, and that's players as it in behind here for Costa. Cut back, no one there. And Choi can come away with it. And sent long into a foot race. And it'll be Shueki who wins it. Though Rodic uses his strength well. One key absence for St. George today is Harrison Farrow. He scored the winner in the return fixture. An 89th minute winner, I should say. That gave St. George a 1-0 win at Seymour Shaw. It was the second win amongst a 6-game undefeated start for St. George. However, the remainder of the season cannot be said the same. Battle for possession in the middle of the park. Here with Wright. Switched out to Poon. Calagiro on the overlap. Doesn't use him. Use him on the second try. Back to Poon. And it's a fantastic sliding block there by Danny Choi doing his defensive work. 4th corner of the night for St. George. As the St. George juniors behind the fans make some noise, trying to yearn the ball into the back of net as this one goes short to Poon. And then crossed in. It's a high one. Header back and toward the mixer. Cleared away only as far as Poon. Was brought down. Referee not interested in it. Olsen wins it off Costa. Up towards Choi. Tug of the shirt, the referee wanting none of it. The other key thing St. George missed with the absence of Harrison Farrow is he's tied leading goal scorer for the side with just 3 goals. 3 players have 3 goals. 2 of them out on the field, thankfully, for St. George in Jaden Casella, number 10, and number 16, Caden Wright. Though Casella's last goal was at the end of April in a 2-1 loss to Appia. And Wright, a 3-1 loss to Sydney United 58 back in the middle of May. As there's another dangerous set piece the Sharks will have to deal with here. It's looking like Casella and Poon standing over this one. Poon with the right foot, Casella with the left. They opt for Casella. Swung in, cleared away by Pusevsky. Sent back in. Header. Climbing, shot. Another great save. Still there. and cleared away on the second effort. Rafael Costa and forcing yet another fantastic foot save out of the tall Daniel Nizic. And the set piece chances are starting to add up for St. George, though the Sharks defense has repelled them thus far. Back-to-back clean sheets over last week. They won't want to give that one up too easily in this one. Hollandale. Out to Olsen. Cross in. Caligiero gets up. Still there with Perez. Now Van Amerongen. Bit of tidy footwork. It's Hollandale who wins the free kick against Smith. Now the Sharks will have a set piece chance of their own. And they'll send the big bodies of Jamie Posevsky and Tice Van Amerongen into that 18-yard box. Danny Choi standing over this one. Swung in. Rising is the header from Posevsky. Got up well. Though headed it straight into the ground. Both sides now with good chances. Nicholas Soros still yet to make a save in the St. George net. Right. Caligiero. Rodic. Keeping it safe, playing back to his captain in O'Shea. And it's forward now. In behind is Casella. And it's a great retracting effort. Still there with Casella. Gets past man. Laid back to Smith. And it's straight into the hands of Nizic. Casella finding an ounce of space out on that left-hand side. Sharks possibly trying to play an offside trap. And fell to Smith. Could put some real power behind it. Goes safely into the hands of Nizic, who's been busy so far but has risen to every challenge St. George has thrown at them. And now the Sharks have a free kick on the other side of the field. See what Danny Choi can do on this second effort. And swung in near post. Cito got up well. Concedes the corner. You can already see how busy that 6-yard box is before this corner is even taken. Referee keeping an eye on all the action, though every player is in that 6-yard box. As that one is swung in, and it's a free kick given out. Referee was watching that one all the way before the ball even got into Soros' hands. The whistle had blown. Right, feeds it up to Poon. It's back to Costa. Costa slides it across as Ninjas came out there. Though there was no one coming in for St. George, as another chance goes wasted. And Van Amerongen sends that one behind for a corner. This one is swung in towards Mill. Prasevsky rides as well. Olsen, lovely touch, and the Sharks can break here. It's gone. Can he find Choi? Still goes to himself. Surrounded by red, still gone. Now Choi. Danny Choi, back to Garn. Now Hollindale. St. George got back well. Can he pick out the side to pass? The cross in. Choi rises. Head away. Falls straight to Olsen. Chipped it back in. And it's Calagiro with the clearance. Still not completely away here. Olsen goes down. Still Olsen comes up with it. And free kick out for St. George. Sharks kept coming there. St. George would half clear their lines. The Sharks sending it back in quickly. That could have been a lot worse for St. George. Brendan Garn, 38-year-old, was breaking through on the counter-attack. Danny Choi is only option forward in support. That shows the speed and how quick the Sharks can break on the counter. This fixture has been tough for the Sharks in recent goings. Last time they beat St. George was on the final day of the 2024 season. So unable to beat them last season, hoping to avoid a league double this year. Last time they played at this specific venue, it was a 3-0 win for St. George. This venue, Sharks haven't won at since St. George returned back to the top flight in 2024. So if they want to climb up into the top 6 tonight, the Sharks do need to rewrite some history. That's back here with Jamie Pasewski. It's a very attacking centre-back duo the Sharks have. The height particularly helping them out on those set-piece moves. Pasewski and Amarongan, 5 goals between the two. So don't want to give away too many set pieces or corners, as those two will always flood the box, looking to get their heads on the end of one. Lots of firepower in this Sharks side. Nicholas Olsen leading the way, moving from Wollongong Wolves, as that one is slipped. And Rodic slides in to clean up what could have been a costly mistake from Evangelosaurus. As a pressure from St. George pays off and they win possession back. Soros wins a free kick. See with Costa, pressure coming. From Shueki. As we speak on the deadly attack of the Sharks, Richard Shueki has to be a person we mention. 3 goals in his last 5. Been in great form. The 21-year-old leading the line. As Olsen has dropped all the way back into the defense line and plays that to Van Amarongan. who can drive into space. Uses Perez. St. George are pressing well, forcing the Sharks just to play side to side and sending Nizic long. Olsen, Hollingdale uniting well. Olsen driving forward. Plenty of blue shirts in front of him. Tried to find Shueki, but unable. And Smith tried to play it up against Casella, but loose touch. Finds it with Choi here. Now in behind for Hollingdale. Can he find someone? Return pass to Choi! He tried to place it, though always covered by Soros. Never going goal bound. Brilliant move there by Olsen and Hollingdale. And Choi to get on the end of that. I'm sure he wishes he could have done better. Kasea. Up to Smith. Though it's Feresi who gets there first. O'Shea does well to win the head. And it's out wide now here with Poon. Flag down. Perez coming back to match him. Cut back on his left foot. And the curling effort unable to stay down. Once again finding abundance of space out on the right-hand side. As we reach the half-hour mark in this one, still nothing to show for it. Daniel Nizic in net for Sharks. A large thanks to that. St. George been attacking well. The Sharks have shown signs of life in the attacking end, though nothing of yet, as is here with Poon again. The cutback and cross. It's high and sent behind for a corner off the head of Nicola. Be the ensuing corner. Can't beat the first man. Back here for Casella. Skips past Shueki. Sent back in. Ferezi deals with the header. And the return cross is high and wayward. Sharks have always been a tough opposition when they go away from home. They've only won 2 away games this season, the Sharks, including their last weekend victory at Sydney United 58. However, they've never been in an away game. There has been a difference of more than 1 goal. So if St. George are to win their first game since March, they'll not only need to find the back of net, but then to keep the Sharks out at the other end. Battle for possession comes out here for Olsen. Flicks it over his head. Nicolo. It's back out for Casella. Surrounded by blue shirts to Smith. Back to Casella. Lovely bit of play. Though the flag has gone up on the near side. First time St. George been caught offside. Sharks been calling for it. Trying to play the offside trap. And this time it does pay dividends. talked about what a win can do for the Sharks and their hopes to play final football come the end of August. If that result does happen, it could be a dire result for St. George FC, as a loss could potentially see them fall into the promotion relegation playoff, though even worse, could possibly find themselves at the bottom of the table for next weekend's fixtures. Blacktown only a point behind St. George FC, and they're facing Rockdale tomorrow at 3 p.m. If Blacktown do win that game, then they will go above St. George. On the other hand, Sydney Olympic, they're 6 points behind St. George. However, they do have a game in hand, and that is a midweek fixture against SD Raiders. So Sydney Olympic could pick up 6 points before next weekend, which would mean St. George do fall possibly to last place if results go against them. So it's possibly not what a win can do for St. George, but more importantly, looking what a loss could mean for this historic side. This one's long by Hollingdale, though couldn't beat Casella. Sent back in by Perez and all the way to Soros. Jancito plays it out to Rodic. Nothing doing there, and the Sharks can come the other way through Garn. His pass was loose, though he's trying to win it back, putting it under pressure. Sent long to Smith, and there's a tussle between him and Van Amerongen. That's a Sharks free kick just here on the near side. Prez opts to go down the line in search of Shueki. Up by Poon. Smith's head, unable to find Casella. And now Nicolo, trying to go the other way. Up towards Shueki. That pass for Fereze is poor. And Soros is chopped down just inside his own half. Here for Caden Wright. Everyone behind the ball for the Sharks. That one in search of Smith. Poon gets up. Tries to find Costa. And the press forces all the way back to Soros, whose pass is poor and finds Hollingdale. Is there a chance here for the Sharks to punish? Is Shueki. And it's a fantastic challenge there by Mark Rodic to make up for his keeper's mistake. Shueki just seemed to hesitate there, didn't want to pull the trigger, and it allowed the 28-year-old centre-back to make a strong challenge there. As the 6-yard box is flooded once again by red and blue shirts. Swung in. Doesn't beat the first man in Poon. Here with Choi. Deflected cross. Out wide now here for the Sharks. Low driven cross. Again, couldn't beat Calagiro. Untroubling crosses for St. George. As Olsen looks for support off the throw-in. Goes back to Ferese. Now Posevsky. And Choi. Hollingale. Been busy this first half. Doesn't get anything there. Now St. George can come the other way. Poon's here on the near side. And a vital touch by Danny Choi. Stops it from getting to the winger. Calagiro goes down. Perez does well. Lovely bit of footwork there by the Sharks to get out of that tight space. As we have 4 minutes remaining of the opening first half. As Shueki puts the back line under pressure and is cut down by Mark Rodish. And he'll be the first player sent into the referee's notebook. The speed and the press of Shueki puts Soros under pressure and driving at the back line. Rodic deemed that he used his shoulder, though brought down Shueki illegally. And now it's a dangerous free kick here for the Sharks. They struck late in the first half last week against Sydney United. Can Riley Hollingdale strike here tonight at Barton Park? Hollingdale's efforts up and over the wall! Fantastic effort from Riley Hollingdale. It is inch perfect from the 21-year-old. And the Sharks lead here 3 minutes before the halftime stoppage. Up and over the wall and into the top left corner. Nicholas Soros unable to do anything of that. And St. George are punished for wasting their attacking chances. And the Sharks lead here. Away from home. Right. Wins the throw-in. Absolutely fantastic free kick. And one I'm sure be tough to find a better goal this weekend. Inch perfect from the midfielder. First goal since the end of March. And that one is straight into the highlight reel. As Shueki is chasing that one down again. The high press leading to that free kick. It is after theirs with Smith. And Ferese. Out wide to Poon. Can St. George strike back? Cross in. Header by Costa. Unable to get anything. Once again, skipping into the box. The shot blocked. Though. Free kick given. Handball against Danny Choi. And now St. George, on the stroke of half time, have a free kick in very similar position Sutherland just did at the other end. Might just be a little bit further out than Hollingdale's effort. Though it still requires the same setup from Nizic, needing a wall, as the fourth official shows 2 additional minutes here at the end of the half. It's Casella. Oh, and a fantastic save by Nizic, who might not have known much about it till very late. Jaden Casella opting to try and beat Nizic on the far left-hand post. And I don't know if Nizic saw it till late, but he got a vital touch to push it up onto the crossbar and behind for a corner. Though not out of danger yet, as that corner is swung towards the back post. Here for Calagiro. And now Wright. Flicked on the header. Back in for Costa. Still in the mixer. Smith. Though unable to find another red shirt. And Shueki is chasing this one down. He does. He's got Choi and Olsen with him. Though his heavy touch allows him to still have it. Perez. Frantic end to this first half. Rodic on the yellow has to be careful. Let's find a few seconds. Oh, the first half ticked down. And that will be it. A strong defensive performance from the Sharks, and especially their keeper, Daniel Nizic, sees them keep out a very strong St. George first half. St. George coming out strong in the first half. Good attacking threats, Justin Poon and Rafael Costa, the main threats for St. George. However, a fantastic free kick from Riley Hollingdale separates the sides as we enter halftime. Top left-hand corner finish, and one worth checking out during the halftime stoppage. As at halftime here at Barton Park, it's Sutherland Sharks 1, St. George FC 0.
Sunny afternoon around Sydney town. Looking forward to how this game goes. Oh, jeez. I tell you what, that is plucky. Lawal just got his rump in. A wipe with a towel. We're in injury time as we speak. Still waiting for the board. I think it's going to be 1 minute of additional time. And as the ball comes inside, a goal. Well, he got himself in a lovely position. The Sky Blues. Lawal has got possession. Lawal now teetering in the area, has the shot, goes past Husserl. Just like the first half, he gets the opening goal. They're on the charge for another here. Abdul Rahman, dangerous, inside. He's coming back and being told it's a while now. Works it on. Here's a chance. Abdul Rahman, another goal. Check on the googly machine. It's now Lawal. It's got the chance. Yep. Make it 4.
This is a really important kick of the football. From 12 yards, Jack Fulton scores!
Kobayashi. Nazam peeling to his left is Kobayashi, but Nazam will take the shot and he buries it. Khan Nazam. Nazam in front of him. 1-2 from Jack Stewart. He gets a better side of him. Michael Cooter cuts it back, looking for Court, and Max Court finds the back of the net. And just like that, Apia. Kobayashi skips inside and has Fong to his right, and Cameron Fong will get to it first and can measure a nice ball in, cutback ball. Onto the penalty spot it goes, and Presley Ortiz.
Crosses back in again. Yeah, it's cleared away nicely to Tafu. Tafu drives in the shot, takes an awkward bounce. Oh, and it's gone in. A ball has gone in there. Mason to Tafu with the shot.
It's a couple of times now where they've been guilty of perhaps throwing the long ball too quickly. Muri Najjar, the flag has stayed down. A huge chance for Rockdale! Never think you know which way a game of football's going. Of course, to get one over there. Emergent enemy, that is a brilliant switch of play though. And an opportunity for Marconi to equalise. Another great save from Kane. Oh, brilliant. It's cleared away again. And then bashed in by Armson.
Now, free kick taken short. Olsen back on his feet. Curves it into the box. And it's going to be finished at the back post. Sutherland lead at Sydney United.
Welcome back for the second half here from Barton Park. Sutherland Sharks up 1-0 at the halftime stoppage. St. George were good for the opening 20 minutes or so. Casella, Costa, and Poon all causing trouble up on the attacking end, though Daniel Nizic has not allowed one in his back of the net just yet. Looking for his 6th clean sheet of the season is Nizic, though more importantly, he would say is the 3 points for his Sharks. There's a slip there by Rodic, straight off the kick, as the evening dew on the field is setting in. No rain over the weekend in Sydney, though winter is definitely settling here in the state. As St. George require a good start like they did in the first half to try and claw their way back into this one. As you feel if Sharks get an early second here, this contest could be out of reach for the side struggling with form. 3 wins at home, St. George, this season, though all 3 came at the start of the season. Haven't won here since their win against Manly United. It's been 5 consecutive home losses. 5 at home, 6 away in this losing streak. And after 45 minutes, the scoreboard is not on their side. And they're potentially on their way to an unwanted 12th. That's here with O'Shea. And now Rodic. Shueki was trying to chase him down. Pass was left short. Though Poon's able to get onto it now. Got Van Amerongen on him. It's up to Costa. He's out-muscled, but wins the corner. Corner's been a big factor for St. George tonight. Multiple in the first half. Their first of the second half here. For some very good feet save out of Nizic in that first half. As Nicholas Calagiro goes right on him. As this corner swung in towards the front post, Smith was there. And it's another corner. No halftime substitutions for either side. To note, both coaches sticking with their starting 11s. Consecutive corners swung in again. And it'll be a 3rd corner in a row. Sharks protesting. Both corners have gone towards this near post. We'll see if there's a change of tactics on this 3rd. Goes to the front post again. And it's headed away by Garn. Sent back in towards the back post now. Van Amerongen headed it onto his own goal and forced his keeper to bail him out of jail there. Jaden Sito was there with Van Amerongen, but clearly came off the head of the Sharks centre back. And I don't know if it was dropping underneath the crossbar, though Nizic just needed to tip it over for safety as the front post is swung in again. And now Olsen comes away with it. He's got Danny Choi ahead of him. And switches out to Shueki. It's 3-on-2 here for the Sharks. It's over to Olsen. Can he bring it down? Plays it to Garn. And could have just brought it down under his control there was Olsen. Elected to go to Garn. A good chance there goes wasted for the Sharks. Proved in that first half their capabilities of breaking on the counter. And they nearly showed it again here. Let's see with Nicolo. Skips through a few plays. And is now here with the goal scorer in Hollingdale. Van Amerongen drives into space. Being let go, though his pass is short. Mopoon's unable to do much with that. That's here with Perez out in the wing. Van Amerongen still forward. Finds Garn. Up to Shurecki. Olsen. Out wide to Yanni Nicolo. Trying to beat a trickery to get past his man. And wins the corner. Despite the pleas from the St. George defenders. And they'll allow their big centre backs to flood the 6-yard box once again. Shark going for a different tactic in that first half. Every corner, every play was in that 6-yard box. This time they're all a bit more spread out as they go short to Hollingdale. Back to Choi. Left-footed cross is in. And it almost beat Soros on the cross. Was backpedaling on that one. Caught it on the second attempt. Though the set-piece effort nearly paid dividends for the Sharks. And a second could have possibly been enough here in the early goings of the second half, as that one is loose by Cito. The Sharks' good run of form has been on back-to-back 1-0 wins. Currently shaped up for their third. Though you feel there is more to be ridden in this local derby. A derby the Sharks are trying to win. It's their first time since 2024. 3 without a win against St. George FC. As that one is long, and Perez cuts it out. It's up towards Smith. Battles Van Amerongen and loses out on the throw. Prez happy to send that one long. And towards Soros. Switches plays out to Jaden Cito. Though nothing shown for him, has to go back to his captain. And now out with Calagiro. Nicola does well to block that one. The low block working for the Sharks. They've got 5 in a back line spread across. Nicholas Olsen dropping as almost a right wing back in that defensive shape. And the St. George just unable to plug anything through those thick lines. As Olsen screams for a foul and is rewarded with one. As we can take a pause in the action and check around the grounds in a very busy round 18 of the National Premier League New South Wales. Last night, Sydney FC boosted their final hopes, defeating NWS Spirit 1-0 earlier at Wanderers Football Park. Sydney United 58 climbed to the top of the league after a 2-0 win against the West Sydney Wanderers, which means the Sharks can move into the top 6 now if this results hold. SD Raiders picked up a vital 3 points against the informed NSW. 2-0 win there. And currently, Appia Leichhardt are 1-0 up on Manly United. As that one is well into the second half there. It's a long-range effort. Goes straight into the head of Jamie Pisewski. Crashes down to the ground. A thunderous effort from Soros. A trainer will have to be called on here to check out the Sutherland centre back. And the final fixture in the early goings was Sydney Olympic away at St. George City. That one kicking off at 7:15. And as I check the score here is now as Pisewski jogs off the back line. Good to see there's no sustained injury there, just a shake of the head. So we restart with a drop ball. And switched out to far side. And it's Calagiro. Losing out to Perez out on the far side. Just trying to load that St. George City and Sydney Olympic score for you. And it's still 0-0 in that contest as they reach the half-hour mark. O'Shea couldn't find Smith as that one was short. Caden Wright's been busy in the middle of the park for St. George, especially when they've been favouring their play out on the wing tonight. Been a tussle to try and find space in that middle of the park. As here now with Casella. The cross in, acrobatic header away by Fereze. And St. George still have it down at the right end of the field, trying to restore levels as Costa hails for a foul that wasn't coming. Casella again, trying to beat Olsen. The cross in, headed away by Fereze again. Chance here for Wright. Low driven cross, deflection, and how'd that one not go in? The shot from Caden Wright went through 1, 2, 3 deflections before going just past the post. And when luck is not on your side, it is really not on your side. St. George can't buy a goal at the moment. This corner swung in. Rising header, and there it is! The much-needed goal for St. George finally arrives. And it's the 23-year-old Jaden Cito. Headers that one into the side netting. And we are level just on the hour mark here at Barton Park. Just as that chance goes agonizingly wide past the post, you're questioning when, oh when, can St. George find the back of the net once again? And it arrives through their left back for his first goal of the season. And it is game on once again here in this derby. You thought there was another goal in it. And it's St. George who get the goal and now can come away with it. It's up towards Smith. Beats Persevsky for pace and wins the throw. St. George's first goal since 16th of May. And Daniel Nizic, who's been so valiant in the Sutherland goal all night, was finally undone. And as Casella skips past a few, still going with it, trying to open up half a yard for a shot. It's here with the goal scorer. Back to Casella. The cross in. Headed away initially. Second header. Sent back in. Smith chested down, though couldn't fall back. To Poon. And Sutherland clear their lines. St. George, who had countless corners in the first half, countless corners in the second half, finally make the best out of one as they win the throw here. Still no movement over on the far side in terms of substitutions. Olsen couldn't clear his line. Costa goes up. And a bit too forceful on his challenge of Riley Hollingdale. Both goals in tonight's fixtures coming from set pieces. Hollingdale, free kick just before the halftime stoppage. And then Jaden Sito from the corner. As Nidgets happy to send that one long. Danny Choi chases it. Soros comes out and collects. Poon. Unable to get past Perez. And not happy they didn't win the throw. St. George bench isn't either up in arms about it. Tension only rising on the field. Draw does no favors really for either side. Sutherland stay outside the 6. And St. George still with the possibility of ending the weekend in 15th, that promotion relegation playoff spot. So again, both sides will be hoping to find a second as that one is loose. And Scasella has got chance. The shot, low driven! And all the way across the face of goal. Nizic watched it all the way. Had to watch it all the way. And it's another dangerous sign for St. George, who have all the momentum right now. Up towards Olsen. Brought down by Nicolo. Sharks have to recycle and go the other way. Hollingdale. Been quiet so far in this second frame. Has it here now. Pressure from Smith. And he's bundled over for the free kick. Fereze. And gone. Trying to find Perez on the switch. He does. Brings under his control. Force here for Olsen. His side volley was always rising up and over. Though a good look for the Sharks' leading goal scorer, his best of the night so far. Been playing more the playmaker role in this contest. Though that was his chance to put his name on the score sheet. Garnrise as well. Header falls straight to Olsen. Shueki finds Olsen. Perez on the overlap. Likes to go inside for Choi, who loses out to Soros. They put Calagero under pressure. And St. George will start with a throw deep inside their half. Strong challenge there by O'Shea on Olsen. Sharks trying to teeter the scales of momentum back in their favour. Last 6 or 7 minutes have been one-way traffic for the men in red. Though can Sutherland produce a counter-punch of their own as we look like a long set throw is going to come in. Doesn't. Goes to Perez. Now the cross. Header is cleared away by O'Shea. Here with Nicolo. Now Choi. Try to knock it around his defender. And St. George are able to relieve some of the pressure momentarily. Van Amerongen. Perez. Takes the throw quickly. This time it will be a St. George throw. People say history doesn't repeat itself. Though ironically, we talked about St. George's unwanted history, 11 losses in a row, trying not to equal Parramatta FC with 14 losses in a row in 2017. Parramatta FC were able to end their losing streak against the Sutherland Sharks with a 1-1 result back in 2017. So still 23 minutes to play in this fierce derby. Though, be ironic if Sutherland are once again unable to beat a side on a serious losing streak. That's out here with Rodic. Shueki coming and pressing. Back here with O'Shea. Sharks once again setting up in that back five block when they're defending. It's a 5-4-1. Shueki the furthest forward. And then just 9 plays in a direct line, man to man. Making it difficult for St. George to really carve any chances in between the lines. As Choi can break with it here. Perez is flown forward. Goes to Hollingdale. He's got men out on his right-hand side. Keeps it here with Fereze. Olsen. Sends it out to Van Amerongen. Sharks just happy to move the ball, keep possession, slowly and intricately work forward. Perez sends the cross in. Olsen! And what a goal that would have been if he found the back of the net with that one. Lovely bit of possession from the Sharks, working from one side to the other. The cross in from Perez. Found the on-rushing Olsen. And you're almost waiting for the net to bulge. And St. George get away with one there. Now Smith. Is there a chance for St. George the other way? It's Costa. Skips in. And it's good last-ditch defending there by Nicolo. Still has it. And is not given the free kick, but deemed to have handballed it, looking for a free kick. And now St. George up the other end, the cross in. Poon is there at the back post. Sends his cross back in, and just no one in the box for St. George. Though Nicolo, who gave away the foul, puts it behind for a corner. As there looks to be a sub in the offering for St. George. Potentially coming after this corner. Corner swung in. Good front post header there. Strong headed. Away by the Sharks. And now Olsen can get on the end of this one to 2-on-2. Got Choi out on the other side. Who he finds. Olsen rolls in Shueki. It's Richard Shueki! And it's fantastic defending there by St. George. Looks to be Jaden Casella. The attacker getting back to do his defensive duty. He might not go a touch on that effort, though he put Shueki under pressure and didn't allow the striker to get a clean purchase on that one. As the substitution was made during that goal kick. Rafael Costa, the youngster, ends his starting debut for St. George and is replaced by number 29, Tamakron Ruskit. As Casella is brought down there by Nicolo. There's a bit of words after between the two. Strong battle all night. Casella's been busy at both ends the last few minutes. It's up to Smith. He makes his touch stick. Now it's out to Casella again. And his cross is blocked by Nicolo and behind for a corner. And he'll need a breather after that one. Putting every bit of his body in the way to protect that cross. And just sucking the wind out of the 26-year-old defender. Orion heads straight back into the 6-yard box, trying to repel this corner. And swung in. And it looked like Garn rose up and headed it away. And a block there by Calagiro keeps it down in the Sharks' end. Throw unable to find a blue shirt. Fight for possession. Good for here for Casella. Now it's out here for Nicolo. Now to Olsen. Can the Sharks break? It's Choi. St. George getting back well in numbers. Sent out to Nicolo, whose only option was to put it out for a St. George throw-in, as we have less than 15 minutes to play here at Barton Park. Goal in the first half for Sutherland through Riley Hollingdale was matched by a second half goal from Jaden Cito, as Perez gets a strong effort behind that one. Will there be a winner in this end-to-end local derby in St. George and Sutherland? Soares to Rodic. Lovely touch there by Wright. Casella. Now here with Cito. Sharks get back in their defensive block. That one's able to find Calagiro. And now Poon. Justin Poon with the cross. Cleared away. Not completely, still there. Shot. Blocked again. Sharks scrambling to clear their lines. Bright shoots, and that's well up and over. And out behind the far back goal net, as the Sharks will make a substitution of their own. It's Danny Choi making way for Takumi Afuka. And he is always a dangerous scoring threat. Scored 12 in all competitions last year for NWS Spirit. Has only scored 1 goal for his new club, coming in a 4th round Hahn Australia Cup preliminary match against Gladesville Ride. Can he be the difference maker and open his league count here tonight? Working with just 12 minutes left. Here is Afuka. Perez will take the throw out on the far side. Doesn't get much easier for St. George heading into next week. They got a trip to the Village Green and UNSW FC next Saturday at 3 p.m. They did win the reverse fixture 2-0 at the start of the season. However, the Village Green is a fortress for UNSW, the newly promoted side from Football New South Wales League One. They haven't lost a game at home all year. So a team needing a win like St. George could be a very difficult place to go. Meanwhile, for the Sharks, they head back into the Shire for a 5:30 Saturday contest against the relegated, battled Blacktown City. As here with Shueki, not clear. Shueki finds the bottom corner, and the Sharks lead once again. Something out of nothing for the deadly striker in Sutherland blue. And with 10 to go, the Sharks have all 3 points once again in their hands. St. George is unable to clear their lines at the back. And you give Shueki half a yard. And found the bottom left-hand corner, side netting. Can't ask much more from your central striker. His 4th in 6 games. His 5th overall in the season. And that goal could mean the Sharks finish in the top 6 at the end of the weekend. And they might not be done here. It's Shueki once again. This time needing support. In Garn. Olsen with the shot. Rodish puts his body in the way. As I was saying before the goal, they head back home to Blacktown City next weekend. Defeated Blacktown in the reverse fixture 3-2. Their first win under David Perkovic. Took a Nicholas Olsen double and a goal deep into stoppage time to win that one. They could potentially heading into that fixture 3 wins on the trot. Well, that one is cleared high and long by O'Shea. Smith to right, and now out to Poon. Brought down by Perez. That'll be a yellow card for Sutherland's number 5. And once again, undone one by set piece. Sharks already. Another set piece cross incoming. Could be a potential way back in for the home side. It's in by Casella. Doesn't beat the front man in Shueki. And it's out to Sito. All alone out on his left-hand side. Forced to go back to right. Switches it. Out to Poon. Always a tough ask to get past Perez and Afuka. St. George still have it. O'Shea. Right. Cuts back on his left. Tried to find the return pass to O'Shea. Low cut out. And Olsen just gets a vital touch in there to push it onto his forward. Riley Hollingdale. Skips past it. But concedes the throw. Back in St. George possession though at the wrong end of the field. As we have 6 to play. Up to Smith. Ferese keeps it in. Van Amgarongen. Ofuka. Loses out. And now Wright comes the other way. Pushed on to the substitute in Ruskett. Couldn't find anything in the middle. Ruskett again. Cross in. Was there a hand there? Big appeals. Referee waved away straight away. And now Hollingdale tried to unleash Shueki as the appeals continue here from St. George. St. George still look dangerous here. It's right. Ruskett. Right. Deflection. And back into Nizic, who falls on it, knowing that his side is under the pump. And needs to relieve. Olsen still pressing from the front. They might be undone here at Hollingdale. Already got one. Slides in Olsen. The vital cutout there by Soros. Though needs to get it away. And couldn't get it up to Rugsit. And the Sharks will just slow down the tempo. Edging closer and closer to a third consecutive win. As they win another throw. Pass is loose. And just cleared up. And Poon was out there with space. But the pace of the ball just too fast for him. So if the result does stick, Sutherland will end the weekend on 26 points. Good enough to climb above Western Sydney Wanderers and temporarily Rockdale Illidan, with the Sharks having the better goal difference of the two sides. Though Rockdale playing Blacktown City tomorrow in Blacktown. And if they're able to pick up any result there tomorrow, it will mean the Sharks will still remain in the top 6. Just above the Wanderers and Sydney FC. As there'll be a long throw here. Finds Smith. Sent back further in. Calagiro. And cleared away. 2 minutes remaining. And there'll be a double substitution here for St. George. As Brian Bomber Brown tries to find an oh so important equalizer. The cross is in, and it falls here for Smith, who swings at it and unable to make connection of it. More chances go wasted for St. George. As Jaden Doroskeski and Ali Mazaffa join the contest. Those were the two substitutions coming on. One of the players that came off was Evangelo Soros, as Shueki out-muscles Rodic, but unable to get past the second player. That was a questionable throw there by Russell. And anywhere will do for Fereze. They play right behind the play. Here with Garn. Now Fuka. As we enter stoppage time here in the 90. And it goes out for a corner. As the fourth official puts 5 minutes up. For stoppage time. So still job done, needing to be done for the Sharks. As they have the ball right where they want it. No plays inside the 18-yard box for this corner, as they'll just play it into the corner. The Perez was unable to shield it for very long, as St. George have the throw. As Shueki snapshots at it, taking any chance he can get. Soros forced to come out to the left-hand side. Sito just goes long and out of play. Referee tells him to move along. It's towards Garn in the middle of the park. First time effort. Beautifully finds a Fuka out on the left-hand side. Perez bombing forward. Not using him on the underlap. Keeps it with himself. Olsen. Back to a Fuka. It's Tamika Fuka. And it's a fantastic challenge there by Rodic. Concedes the corner. As precious seconds tick further and further away. Corner short once again. Olsen shielding. St. George need to get it up, but not out of play. As we're halfway through the additional 5 minutes. Sharks taking all the tempo out of this game. That ball sent forward, but sent directly straight back by Nicolo. As we enter the 93rd minute, it's sent high and long in search of Smith, who chases down, puts hands into the back of Posevsky. Didn't need to do that. The St. George attacker had the speed to challenge the Shark defender. And it's more time ticked in favor of the visitors. We're looking more and more likely like they'll secure back-to-back away victories. There's a foul there on Teal. As the referee just wants to check on Sito, as there's a head injury. Ref will add on these additional seconds. As it's a substitution for the Sharks. It's the end of Richard Shuecki's night. Difference maker in this game. He's going to be replaced by Julian Fideli. As we're still stopped here in play. It's Jaden Cito down. Goal scorer for St. George. St. George will also make their fourth substitution. It will be the end of Cito's night once he arises from the turf. Be replaced by Kota Toyoka. Cito rise to his feet and is able to walk off under his own power, which is good to see. And it'll be everyone forward here for St. George in a last gasp effort. Handled by Onify Richard. Right. Tries to play it wide. Afuka gets a good touch on there. Clears away. Still here with St. George. The cutback. Beautifully done by Mazafa. And quickly in the fold is Toyoka. And it'll be a long throw in by Calagoro. They're unable to beat the front post of Jordan Perez. Long again. Flicked on by O'Shea. Cleared by Olsen. Sent back forward. But returned back by Fuka, who's in offside position. As the full-time whistle will blow, the Sutherland Sharks climb up into the top six. A third consecutive win for the visitors. It's a 12th consecutive loss for the home side, St. George FC. Fought valiantly here in the local derby. An absolute screamer from Riley Hollingdale. Separate the sides before the halftime stoppage. Top left corner. The 21-year-old midfielder was able to find. St. George did strike back through a set piece of their own. Jaden Cito heading home, the equaliser, just before the hour mark. But the difference maker was Richard Shuecki, scoring 10 minutes from time. His fifth of the season, finding the bottom left corner in what proved to be the decisive blow and delivering all 3 points to the Sharks. It's full time here from Barton Park. I've been Keane McKenna. Pleasure to have you alongside for this one. It ends St. George FC 1, Sutherland Sharks 2.